in the context of what we're discussing here, what is nature? It does feel like a very old-fashioned word.
Well, it's a very important one. It's all of us. We need to realize and understand that we're a part of nature. We have forgotten that for so long. And I think COVID reminded us a little bit, right? That, we die, we get sick. We thought we were not getting sick anymore. We die, we get sick. It's enough that we are out of balance with our natural system, and so we may experience tremendous, terrible economic consequences. And I think, I'm happy to be part of this debate and to be calling from Rome, because I don't want it to become a debate about what the developing world needs to do, right? Land degradation has happened in the West long before it happened in Asia and Africa. Deforestation has massively happened in Europe. And so it's not just a problem for the so-called developing world, but it's a problem for everyone. And it's time that we start realizing that we need to reforest the world. We need to start rewilding cities in Europe. We need to start rewilding cities in North America. We need to start being in balance with ecosystems everywhere. This shouldn't be just a target, a task for other continents. It needs to be a global effort. And when that happens, believe me, the ability that nature has to restore itself, to progress quickly, and to counter some of the most negative effects of climate change is extremely impressive. So we need to be part of the process. That's what nature is. We need to be part of nature and facilitate this restoration process. We're going to enjoy the consequences, not just as natural beings, but also as economic beings. It's going to be a good thing for the economy. It's going to be a good thing for our personal health.
Chandra Bhushan in New Delhi, that point that Lorenzo in Rome makes. I mean, Inga Anderson in the soundbite that we played at the top. Lorenzo, going back to that idea of rewilding our towns, our cities, our urban and our rural areas, the percentage statistics contained in this report make convincing reading, because if you basically take 15% of industrialized, and I'm including industrialized farming here, industrialized land around the world back to what it used to be, you can literally stop dead 60% of predicted species extinctions by the year 2030. That's a very easy equation, and yet prime ministers, presidents, economy ministers, finance ministers, energy ministers around the world, they don't seem to be particularly engaging with a very simple message. Or, I mean, to put it another way, I think it was Gandhi that said, be the change you want to be. And work with people, yeah? To paraphrase what Gandhi said or Michael Jackson said.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah,
be the change you want to see in the world.
Nelson Mandela, some very clever guy, cleverer than I, said that. How do we get people... How do we get people to do this? Do we tax them or do we incentivize them?
There are many tools. Let me also emphasize the fact that prime ministers and governments are wrong. They've been wrong for a long period of time. I think our governments have been socialized into a different understanding of economic development. And I think more and more people are realizing that our concept of economic growth has to be completely rethought. When my friends from India and from Kenya were saying, the developed world has to help the developing world, I would go even further. I would say the developed world has to take responsibility for what it has done, the damage it has generated, and also realize that it hasn't, it's not an example, shouldn't be an example for the rest of the world. And when you look at the whole planet, there are many interesting experiences. For instance, tools like payments for ecosystem services, paying farmers not to destroy nature, but to actually to restore and support ecosystems, because ecosystems play a very important function in the economy. Supporting governments and states that protect Mother Nature, that protect wildlife, as part of a global taxation mechanism. We should have a global tax that should go, the proceedings should go to those governments that have nature reserves and so on and so forth. We should also have incentives, because people react to incentives to consume better, not to consume more, but to consume better. The shift between more and better means changing the world. And instead, because of our obsession with economic growth, which I consider a stupid economic model, we continue thinking that in order to develop, we need to consume more. We're generating waste, and then we have a lot of health and environmental issues to deal with. It's a very expensive system. So consuming better rather than consuming more. Our fiscal methods have to change. It's not hard. Interestingly, academics have long argued that we do have all the tools, the natural tools, the financial tools to do so. What is now missing is the political will. And I think this is the time after COVID for everyone to unite behind this report and behind these findings to say, We don't want to wait anymore. We want a better economy. We don't want to die of the next pandemic. We want to make sure that our natural conditions will be ideal for life, and we want to make sure that we're not going to experience so much poverty and so much deprivation, because that turns into migration, that turns into a global problem, and it's again impacting on our economy. If we want to save our economy, we have to save our planet.
Chandra Bhushan, back to you in New Delhi. 0.1%.
Lorenzo, where that water comes from.
Lorenzo Fioramonti in Rome. If this is not done, and done soon, because there's definitely a sense of urgency now coming from people like the report authors here, is this a crisis that is irreversible?
Potentially, yes. And it will have not only an existential threat, but it will be also an immediate financial threat. I understand that a lot of people don't care about existential threats. They don't care about planetary destruction, although I think intelligent species should actually care about it. A lot of people care about their pockets. Well, let me be very clear. If we don't take care of this crisis, we're going to have to pay a lot of money. Jobs will be lost. Livelihoods will be gone. Property values will drop. I mean, it's already happened. I mean, look at Florida. Estate value and properties have dropped in market prices because of the risk of natural disasters. So the same is happening in Australia. Rich people have lost a lot of money for not taking care of the land and the environment within which they live. So I'm trying to say this because it needs to be clear first and foremost that this is a problem for everyone. It's also a financial and economic problem if we don't take care of it. We should have done a lot years ago. We haven't done it because we have denied the crisis. Then we have postponed decisions. Now we're still, dilly-dallying, not taking, sitting on the fence and looking at it. And this is becoming more expensive every minute that we wait. And again, the report tells us that we know exactly what needs to be done. And what needs to be done is not going to lead us towards a worse personal, social, and human condition. It's going to lead us into a better economy. It's going to lead us into an economy that is going to be more prosperous, and also that is going to allow us to thrive better. We're not going to have to spend so much money to treat ourselves. We're not going to get as sick as we get now. We're not going to have so many social ills as we do have now. So it's a desirable economy. It's what I call a well-being economy. So not understanding this, which was the issue of separation, not understanding that if we separate human beings from nature, both are going to lose, is really an element of stupidity in our species. And I think overcoming that stupidity will be the most incredible, important step of our generation.
Gentlemen, that's an apt point to draw our discussion to a close. A thought-provoking conversation today. Thank you all very much for joining us. They were our guests, Chandra Bhushan, Kaddu Sebunya and Lorenzo Fioramonti. And thank you, too, for your company. You can see the show again anytime you want via the website, aljazeera.com. And for more discussion, go to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/AJ Inside Story. You can also follow the chat on Twitter at AJ Inside Story is our handle. From me, Peter Dobby, and the team here in Doha. Thanks for watching. We will see you very soon. For the moment, bye-bye.